doesn't think of one person. You know, I think that there's some, right now there are very strong movements around issues of discrimination, particularly in the context of HIV and AIDS. And so what we're seeing is a really growing activism, litigation, as well as advocacy, as well as action around, for example, sexual orientation discrimination, discrimination against sex workers in the context of HIV. And that's properly and squarely anti-discrimination activism. And it is courageous work because it's a region where people have very strongly held views about sexual orientation, which are not encompassing and embracing, as well as strong views about sex work in the context of HIV. So I think that's, and both of those areas are also very much related to gender equality. Yes? So I think that that's very encouraging work that's happening now. I think of the activists who have been working on reproductive health and rights. We have an organization, for example, in one of the Caribbean countries called ICHRP, Advocates for Safe Parenthood, where they've been really sort of pushing the dialogue around women's reproductive and sexual health and rights. Very encouraging work. And also, again, it's work that's courageous because it's pushing at dominant cultural values. Yes? And pushing against it. And yeah, so I would say those. Individuals have definitely a responsibility to speak out, act up, in keeping with the value systems of human rights. And I think that's one of the challenges of those of us who are doing human rights work, to find the mechanism, to find the language, to find the way to animate individuals to act. I think that's a challenge that we perhaps have not taken up as well as we ought to. How do you get people to stand up against discrimination, and even in the most private spheres, to really be courageous? So I think that's foundational, getting people to understand the importance and dignity of the other and their responsibility to ensure everyone has access to their and enjoys dignity. So that's the first thing. I think that's a foundational work. Of course, civil society actors need to do their monitoring, need to be advocates, need to ensure state accountability, need to be vigilant, need to have surveillance systems in place. And that's work that I think human rights organizations traditionally do and are equipped to do. And governments have to, as we say, fulfill their obligations, protect, respect, and fulfill rights. And also to pay closest attention to the most marginalized and the most excluded. That their work, the work of the state, touches those who are most excluded as a specific target, not maybe as a trickle-down or a byproduct. And that we also pay attention to sectors of society who have experienced traditional and historical discrimination and themselves have much responsibility for other members of society. So thinking of women who are heads of households. When states pay attention to the economic needs of women heads of households, it's a great multiplier effect, interrupting children's poverty, and of course moving forward with gender equality. So I think the state's responsibilities are also quite well enumerated in the human rights discourse. And I think the state, civil society organizations and individuals all have to act somehow in concert to create the culture of rights that we want, the culture of peace that we want, the culture of development that we also want to realize from our collective work.